Welcome back to Know Your Deets. Today we've got 30 facts covering everything from history and science to some things that are just genuinely weird. Let's get into it. 30 incredible facts to make your day. Sweden's Heights Hotel operates year-round. A permanently refrigerated section stays frozen even through summer, so you don't have to wait for winter to visit. George Washington never lived in Washington, D.C. He served his entire presidency from residences in New York and Philadelphia. The capital wasn't ready for occupancy until after he left office. T.S. Eliot had an unusual habit. Contemporaries, including Virginia Woolf and Osbert Sitwell, documented that he regularly wore green face powder in social settings, and occasionally lipstick. He never publicly explained why. Ancient Roman beauty treatments sometimes included crocodile dung applied as a facial preparation. Roman beauty culture borrowed ingredients from across the ancient world, and not all of them were what you'd expect. Ian Fleming wrote the first James Bond novel as a distraction from the anxiety of getting married. The result was Casino Royale, published in 1953. A single jelly bean can take up to 3 weeks to make. The process runs through multiple stages: molding, drying, coating, and polishing, each requiring time between steps. Wasps are more aggressive at the end of summer because their colonies have peaked in size and their food sources are running out. It's not random, it's seasonal pressure. Several Chinese emperors died from the very thing they were trying to avoid. Qin Shi Huang and a number of Tang Dynasty rulers consumed alchemical elixirs believed to grant immortality. Many contained mercury and lead. The pursuit of eternal life ended up shortening it. The giant Pacific octopus can lay around 56,000 eggs in a single clutch. The female tends them continuously until they hatch, then typically die shortly thereafter. In the early 1770s, Denmark was effectively governed by a doctor. Johann Frederick Struensee, personal physician to King Christian VII, became the de facto ruler of the country. His rise lasted about 2 years before he was overthrown and executed in 1772. In 2005, a New Hampshire man named Ronald McDonald was arrested for stealing $133 from the Wendy's restaurant where he worked. In 1999, Hotmail had a serious security failure. A flaw in the login script briefly allowed anyone to access any account simply by entering the password EH. Millions of accounts were exposed before it was patched. The longest unbroken alliance in world history is between England and Portugal. Formalized in 1386 with the Treaty of Windsor, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance has remained intact for over 600 years, and it's still active today. The U.S. Marine Corps maintains a protected bison herd at Cape Pendleton in California as part of a broader effort to conserve a species that was once pushed to the edge of extinction. Turkeys can change color. The skin on their head and neck shifts rapidly through shades of red, blue, and white in response to stress or excitement, similar to blushing in humans. In 1985, R2-D2 and C-3PO had their own animated series. Star Wars Droids ran for 13 episodes, following the two droids through adventures set before the events of the original film. You don't sneeze in your sleep. The brain suppresses the sneeze reflex during sleep, so irritants that would trigger a sneeze while you're awake simply don't register the same way. The recorder was once a respected instrument. During the medieval, Renaissance, and Baroque periods, it was among the most widely used instruments in European music. Its decline came later, as orchestral tastes changed. The word Guy traces back to Guy Fawkes. Ragged effigies of him were burned across Britain every November 5th. Over time, Guy came to describe a strangely dressed man, then any man, then people in general. Japan has a business philosophy called Kaizen, meaning continuous improvement. The idea is that processes should be regularly examined and refined rather than simply maintained. It shaped Japanese manufacturing culture after World War II and spread from there. Michael Jackson once arranged to have a Florida supermarket closed after hours so he could experience grocery shopping like a normal person. The store was fully stocked and staffed, open only for him. It was documented in his 2003 special, Michael Jackson's Private Home Movies. Charles Dickens published most of his novels in serialized installments. His work was so widely read that even people who couldn't read would gather to hear the latest installments read aloud. A single copy could pass through an entire neighborhood. Classic Disney characters wear gloves for a practical reason. Early animators used them to make characters' hands easier to see against dark backgrounds and simpler to draw frame by frame. The convention stuck long after the technical need passed. Dinosaurs lived on every continent, including Antarctica. During the Mesozoic era, global temperatures were warmer and the land masses were connected, allowing species to spread widely. Fossil evidence from Antarctica confirms they were there. Most domestic cats have 5 toes on their front paws and 4 on their back paws. The extra front toe sits higher up on the leg. It's the standard configuration, though some cats are born with extra toes on multiple feet, a condition called polydactyly. High contrast stripe patterns, the kind found on escalator edges or certain blinds, can cause real physical discomfort. For some people, they trigger headaches or migraines. In rare cases, they can induce seizures in individuals with photosensitive conditions. NASA can effectively email tools to astronauts. When a tool is needed on the International Space Station, engineers transmit a digital design file to the crew, who print it out using the onboard 3D printer. A ratchet wrench was printed in orbit this way in 2014. The 1927 presidential election in Liberia has been cited by Guinness World Records as the most fraudulent election in recorded history. The winning candidate received approximately 243,000 votes. The total number of registered voters at the time was around 15,000. In Cuba, state-owned vehicles are legally required to pick up passengers when directed by traffic officials. It exists to ease chronic public transportation shortages and, in practice, turns many government vehicles into an informal hitchhiking network. In 2018, Macaulay Culkin ran an online poll letting fans vote on a new middle name. The winning submission was Macaulay Culkin. He made it legal. His full name is now Macaulay Culkin. That's 30 facts. Subscribe if you're new, and leave a topic in the comments if there's something you uncovered. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.